Hey everybody, and welcome back to Grunt Reviews. We are back in the studio, and today we are starting the review process with another unboxing and tabletop. I filmed this portion at the end, but guys, this is the Tokarev USA TAR-12P or TAR-12PT. Website says one thing, box says the other, but this is the Tokarev version of the AR-12 style shotgun. Guys, as always, go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment with your thoughts. That helps us with the YouTube algorithms. Always feel free to share us with your friends. And if you like what we're doing for you here at the channel, I do have my Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. We do appreciate your support, and let's get into it. Jumping right into this, we will get into the unboxing here. So, first things first, let's get some of this packing junk out of the way. All right, so we do get the grease bag, and we will remove the shotgun from that. And initial look, surprisingly enough, not as greasy as some of these do come. Get this out of the way. We do have our accessories down below, so we are going to get the choke kit. So we should have one in the shotgun itself, two additionals, and the choke removal tool there. We have one single 5-round. This is the Gen 1 style magazine. These are the MKA 1919 patterns. So this is the Gen 1, doesn't have the plastic, doesn't have the rail attachment on the bottom. We do get an angled foregrip, of course not previously installed. The charging handle for the shotgun itself, just kind of zip tied around the trigger there. And then we get our accessories, or I guess our plastic accessories. So it does come, of course, with the instruction manual. And then in our little accessories bag here, we do have the hardware for the cheek riser here. We have a set of the flip-up sights that they do like to include, and these actually, are these metal or is that just the feeling from the bag? Oh, also do get the hardware for the vertical foregrip, and nope, these are polymer. These are the relatively standard flip-up style sights that they do include. Let me get the box and the packing material out of the way, and we will zoom in on the unit itself. Starting at the front and working our way back, we do have an 18.5-inch barrel. Does, of course, as we saw in the unboxing, accept various chokes, so you can change the choke out for hunting purposes, or if you want to do something like they have some choke adapted compensators and things of that nature. So it does give you that option. Working our way a little bit further back, does have a polymer handguard. Of course, flip-up sights did go ahead and put those on. So we do have a short run of pick rail here at the front. We have a nice little break for your hand to go, which I do appreciate there. You don't get the cheese grater effect. And then we do have a section at the rear that leads into the aluminum upper. One thing I will say that I noticed, and hopefully that is coming through in the video, but putting the sights on, the pick rail on the polymer is just a hair narrower than the pick rail on the receiver. Was trying to slide the sight back and then tried to slide it forward. Doesn't transition, so this is going to be a little bit more standard pick rail on the receiver. This is going to be just a little bit thinner, so you may have to adjust accordingly. On the sides, we do have a short run of pick on either side for doing something like a flashlight. And then on the bottom is almost identical to the top. We have a front section, it's broken, then a rear section. This one is just a little bit longer, and it is to mount that angled foregrip or really any accessory of your choice. And then we do have a sling swivel up front here that does rotate from side to side. As we work our way just a little bit further back, this is going to feel very AR-esque. That's kind of why these are the AR-12s. That should be common sense, but just for the folks who aren't familiar with these. Grip does appear to be interchangeable with a standard AR grip. That's becoming more and more common in these. And then we do have a single screw. Does look like it hides just a little bit of storage in there. The lower portion polymer, upper portion is going to be a metal versus a polymer on the rest of the firearm. Obviously, charging handle is now mounted. This is right side charging only. Does not have a ambi option there. Safety in that very familiar AR position. It is a 90-degree safety there. Bolt catch, of course, in that very familiar position as well. And magazine release, also very familiar if you are familiar with the AR platform. Working our way to the back, one thing you will notice with almost all these AR-12s, and something to consider if you can't get your hands on one in advance to play with, they do have a pretty long length of pull on almost all of these, and they are not adjustable. So if you've got a little bit shorter arms, that is something to consider. Does come with a cheek rest. If you've been watching any of the other videos that I've done, I still hold that these things are kind of worthless. The cheek, or the stock I should say, where your cheek weld is, already sits so high for the irons or even the optics. There's really no need to go any higher. And with not having any heat generation back here, it's not like it's a pad either. But if you wanted to run some ridiculous 3-inch tall optic, they do at least give you the mount there. A couple places to hook a sling there on the rear, depending on how you like to do it. And it does look like, this is not an actual QD, but it does look like you could put some QD cups in there if you wanted to switch over to a QD style setup. And then on the very back of this, we do have a nice rubberized butt pad that actually has a pretty solid amount of grip to it. So nice chevron pattern and a decent feel. Not a ton of squish, but I think it should grip the shoulder very well. And these things are relatively light recoiling. Trigger, which seems to be what everybody wants to, or always seems to want to find out about. So this will be actually our first pull ever. Interesting. All right, so we are set up out of the box basically right on that wall. There is no real take up. Nice and heavy. Brake, a whole lot of over travel. Long but audible reset. We are right back on that wall. And brake. And one more time. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. Usually these have some creep or some over travel. This thing is, I mean, right on that wall. I'd say the epitome of a single stage. Brake. And reset. Brake. Trigger does feel heavy, but does not feel no creep. They seem to have cleaned these up just a little bit. As always, I do have my handy dandy Lyman digital trigger gauge, and we are going to see what this weighs out of the box. First pull. Well, that's definitely not light. First pull, 10 pounds, 14.7 ounces. Second pull, get a little lower here. Second pull, 11 pounds, 6 ounces. And last one. Last one is 11 pounds and 7.5 ounces. So this is definitely in that old school battle rifle category. Do like the feel of the trigger. Very nice single stage, no take up, no creep. The trade-off is a little bit of a long reset, and 12 pounds is pretty stout. We've done a few of the other ones. They usually come in 7 to 8, if memory just coming off the top of my head. So about 50% heavier than some of the other ones. That's not as bad for new shooters, especially with a shotgun platform. But for more experienced folks, I like the shotgun triggers, especially for something like this, in the 6 pound range, give or take. So it's got a good feel. If they could just lighten it up by about half, would have a solid setup. However, something else to be mentioned, if you haven't looked at price on these, they are in that entry-level price market, somewhere around the $300 to $500 range. They've got a couple different versions with a couple different finishes, so that will change the price accordingly. Weight, as always, we're going to grab a weight on this. All right, get this zeroed out. And hopefully with a little bit of luck, that's coming through there. We are at 7 pounds, 2.32-ish ounces. And then with a 5-round magazine, puts us at 7 pounds, 13.2 ounces. So should be under the 8 pound range, or with an optic somewhere in the vicinity of that 8 pound range. Get this out of the way. Thoughts on it? Initial impressions, everything actually does feel pretty solid. I'm not hearing any creaks or any rattles, anything out of place like I've seen with some of the other AR-12s. Do like the fact that the handguard gives you a nice area to put your hand there in between the two pick rail sections. It's a little bit fat. If you're used to a more rounded AR style handguard, this is going to be a little bit more elongated. For the pistol shooters out there, think a staccato grip versus something like a 5.7 grip. But still very usable with decent size hands. I wear a size large in most gloves, if that helps out some of you. So very well thought out. Kind of interesting on the way they did the pick rail. And I'll see if that comes through on the camera. But it's basically a rail section, almost on top of a rail section, like almost like a riser, if you will. And they did it on both sides. A little bit different, not all bad. They actually include, or best I can figure, there is 4 roll pins that I found in the bottom of the parts bag. And looking at this, there's 2 roll pins on either one of these, so that makes me wonder if these are removable, if you want to go just a little bit smoother with it. But the fact that they do give you the ability to add a light or other accessories is a nice little feature in the in that AR-12 market. Not all of them do that. Feels overall very decent. Like I said, I'm not seeing any initial quality issues. The action does feel very smooth. Grip, kind of my only gripe here. It's got that rubberized grip texture. It's not terrible, and some people like that, and this is definitely going to boil down to a preference thing, but I prefer more of a just traditional polymer like G10 style grip with a little bit more of a rough texture on it, just because rubber attracts a lot of dirt, chemicals, ends up leaving black stuff on your hands a lot of times. Maybe we'll get lucky, maybe this one won't. But all in all, out of the box, does seem like a decent option for the money. As always, we are going to take this out to the range. We are going to see how it performs. We're going to run a variety of ammo, but just wanted to give you this initial unboxing and tabletop overview. Guys, as always, I do appreciate your time watching this. Stay safe, train hard.